Multi-stream. Da, 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 da. All right, I'm going to wait for a few minutes before starting. If you want to just take time to center yourself, find a comfortable seat, do whatever you need to do before we begin. I thought I was going to be on a little bit before 11, but I announced on YouTube that I was starting at 11, and I was ready at 11, so now here I am. All right. All right, you know what? I'm just going to, hi. Oh, shoot, why is my sound on? Hi, let's start. So, after 2 years of this YouTube channel, I have decided that I would like to start teaching yoga from the beginning for those people who either are new to it or could benefit from learning from the beginning. I think that even some intermediate level practitioners could still benefit from learning from the beginning, particularly if we are constantly going to classes and not really taking the time to learn how to communicate with our own mind and body. It can be helpful to learn how to communicate with our own mind and body, right? And so that's what I want to teach you how to do, so that you can continue going to yoga classes if you want to, or you can also tap into your own higher self, your own teacher, and experience the benefits of doing so. Yeah. So we're going to work with the root chakra today, mooladhara, and we're going to stay low to the floor. There's like a million different ways that I was thinking, like, how can I teach this? So, you know, you can do them all, right? But you have to start with one. So I think we'll stay low to the floor today. We'll do a lot of repetition. And the number one thing is I just really want for you to be paying attention to what your body is communicating to you. I think oftentimes people use the listen to your body as an excuse to not do things, you know? Or like, oh, listen to your body, you know, and then if it's like, oh, something is hurting, then we take that to be like, oh, don't do that thing, or, you know, stop, things like this, right? But sometimes we need to pay attention to exactly what the body is trying to communicate. Yes, sometimes it hurts when we do certain things, right? Like if we're not ready to sit in Padahastasana, then it might be pulling on the knees. But does that mean that we should never sit in Padahastasana? No, right? This is the optimal way to sit if we want to meditate, right? But, okay, maybe first I need to do something to work out my knees, and then, okay, maybe then I can try it, okay, you know, and then it's better, right? So, and with stretching, right? I talk about this in so many classes, but when we are doing things like stretching and our body's not really used to it, then a lot of times we get resistance. And then if all you hear is, oh, listen to your body, then what you might do is say, okay, well, my body's saying don't do this. Probably not. What your body is saying is that this hurts. But then what you can do is you can use your mind to communicate back to the body actually you can do this, right? Actually, it is safe to stretch, right? It is safe to open. And so then when we have that communication and then we use the breath in conjunction with it, then we can teach the body how to do more things. Yeah? All right, well, that's enough talking while people are trickling in. So let's go ahead and start. So find a comfortable seat, and I would like for us to be starting seated so that we can notice how it feels to start this way and then to finish this way, right? So we can observe the differences just in this approximately 1 hour that we are practicing. So find your seat, however that may be. You can sit literally any way that you want to, just we're going to be aware of it. Yeah. All right, find the seat. And let's go ahead and take the hands to the knees. We can have the hands facing down because I want for us to be working on grounding here. So place the hands face down onto the knees. They can be actually on the knees, or if you want to have them slightly back from the knees so that the elbows can be more bent and you can be more comfortable, then that might be easier, might be better, yeah. Now let's go ahead and close down the eyes. And let's ground into the body. So I really want for us to be focusing on occupying the body. So starting by bringing awareness to the top of the head. And following the awareness down into the face. Become aware of what the face is doing. You can make changes based on what you discover or not. The goal is to be aware, okay? And bring the awareness back down the back of the head and to the neck. Really be aware of how the neck feels. Make changes if you need to, or don't. And continue bringing the awareness down into the shoulders. What are we doing with the shoulders? Are they scrunched up toward the ears? Are they slouching forward? Again, make changes if you need to or if you want to, or otherwise stay how you are. Maybe we want to see what it feels like to drop the shoulders down a bit. Maybe we want to see what it feels like to pull them back a little bit. Let's continue following the awareness down the upper arms to the elbows. What do the upper arms feel like? Do we need to do anything different? Do we want to put more or less of a bend in the elbows? And ground down into the lower arms, down into the wrists. Are we putting tension in the wrists? How do they feel? Do we need to change anything? And continue to follow the awareness down into the hands, the back of the hands, the palms, the fingers. Feel the hands where they are touching our legs. Notice the connection. Notice the sensation. And follow the awareness back up to the neck and ground down into the chest and out. Are we holding tension in the chest? can we release the tension if we're holding it? And follow the awareness down into the belly. Notice any sensations. Ask what those sensations might be trying to communicate. See if you wish to change them. See if you can change them. And bring the awareness back up to the back of the neck. And ground down the spine and out into the shoulder blades. And farther down the spine and out into the middle back. Grounding all the way down to the tailbone. And out into the lower back. Now let's really pay attention to what we are doing with the spine. Is the spine straight? Are the curves that are happening with the spine natural? Are they harmful or helpful? I'm not going to answer it for you. Really feel into your spine. Ask your body what it needs to do to make your spine more comfortable and in a more optimal position. Once we feel comfortable with the spine, let's go ahead and continue to ground into the hips, the hip flexors, into the glutes. Are we holding tension in any of those areas? Is that tension that we're holding serving us in a positive way? Is there tension that can be released? See if you can use the mind and use the breath to make any changes that need to be made. Continue to ground into the upper legs. Again, scanning for any tension. Continuing the communication. Are there changes that need to be made? Grounding into the knees. Notice the sensations. Notice what those sensations are telling you. Is there anything you can do to change the sensations? Can you use your breath? Can you use your mind to release the tension in the knees? And continue bringing the awareness down into the lower legs. Again, scanning for tension. Making any changes that are necessary or not. And grounding into the ankles. Noticing any sensations, any tension. Using the mind and the breath to make any changes that need to be made. And grounding into the feet. Again, noticing sensations, noticing tension. And see if you can use the mind and the breath to make any changes that need to be made. And now we're going to start connecting to our mooladhara, our root chakra. So we're going to do so by squeezing it. Okay, so feel into the area, your pelvic floor. And we're going to inhale, and then we're going to exhale all the air out, and we're going to squeeze the pelvic floor and hold it for about 10 seconds. And then we're going to inhale and hold the air in, and then we are again going to squeeze and hold for about 20 seconds. Okay? So inhale. And exhale all the air out. Squeeze the pelvic floor and hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the squeeze as you inhale. And again, squeeze and hold. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the squeeze, let the air out. And return to natural breathing. Breathe calmly through the nose for maybe another 30 seconds, and then we're going to do that one more time. Maintaining awareness of the body, the whole body. All right, ready? Again, inhale. And exhale all the air out. Squeeze the pelvic floor and hold the squeeze for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the squeeze. Inhale. Squeeze again and hold. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release the squeeze. Beautiful. Notice the energy moving up the spine to the crown. Maybe feel a little bit more energy. Maybe your body wants to sway a little bit. Tune into any sensations, any urges of the body. See if you can let it do what it needs to do. Let's take a few more seconds here with the eyes closed, and then we'll open the eyes and we'll start moving. All right, let's go ahead and blink open the eyes. Woo! Take a second to adjust to the light. All right, let's warm up. If you need to, change the positioning of your legs. We have kind of been sitting here for a little while, so if you want to change the way you are seated, go for it. And we are going to start with our Pawanmuktasana. And so the purpose, of course, of our Pawanmuktasana is always to warm up the joints, but I would like for us to be warming up the joints while maintaining awareness of those joints. Yeah. So we're not going to do it with Kapalabhati today, or you can use Kapalabhati if you want to, but I want you to do it at your own pace, and I want you to really be feeling into your specific body as we do this, okay? So let's start with the neck. Inhale, taking the chin up towards the ceiling. And exhale, bring the chin down towards the chest. And again, go at your own pace. See whatever you need to be doing with your body to allow for the head to come back as far as it can, and to allow for the chin to come forward as far as it can. Yeah, so maybe we want to work on keep going. Even if I stop, just keep going. As long as I say keep going, please. So maybe you want to pull your shoulders back more, right? Maybe you want to pull your shoulders down more. So really feel into it, right? We're using these simple movements to allow for the opportunity to connect more deeply, yeah, and to really practice the mind-body connection before we then move it into our longer, more intense yoga practices, yeah. I've already done this today, by the way, so I'm not skipping it. All right, let's keep moving into the neck. This time we're going to look to the right. So let's exhale as we look to the right. Inhale as we come to the center. Exhale, looking to the left. Inhale, center. And again, see like, how far can I move my head? What is obstructing me from moving my head more? Is my body saying it doesn't want to move more, even though it actually can? And again, going at your own pace. Just trying to increase the flexibility and trying to increase mobility, and of course, trying to increase awareness, mind-body connection. Let's do, I don't know, 2 more each side. Beautiful. Let's make circles. So we're going to inhale as we take the head to the left shoulder and back and over to the right, and exhale as the chin comes down towards the right, to the center and over to the left. Again, going at your own pace, making any micro or macro movements with the body. And really try to be syncing your movement with the breath here, right? So when I say inhale back and exhale forward, this might be surprising, but what I mean is inhale back and exhale forward, right? There are reasons why we inhale and exhale at the times that we do in yoga. We're not just saying these things for no reason, right? All right. Well, you can switch directions in whatever way you need to make it even. I'm obviously not counting, so make yourself even. I might be making myself uneven, but that's all right. All right, let's get into the wrists. So we're going to extend the hands out in front of us. And as we inhale, we're going to take the fingers up towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, we're going to take the fingers down toward the floor. You probably can't hear my cracking, but so again, going at your own pace and really feel into the wrists, okay? All of our attention here is on the wrists and trying to increase the mobility of our wrists in this very simple, repetitive movement. So try and make each one a little bit bigger than the one before. Maybe you can feel it into the rest of your arms as well. So you can like notice how the wrists are connected, right? And then how you can feel it going all the way up the arms, right? All right, let's circle them out. So let's make fists. And let's inhale as we bring the fists up and over to the right, and exhale as we bring them down. Again, going at your own pace. Whatever pace makes the most sense so that you can feel the most, you can connect the most. And whenever you feel like it, you can switch and go in the opposite direction. I recommend doing at least 10 in each direction. So you can do, depending on how it feels for you, right? Like if you're not really experiencing any clicks and you feel like the mobility is pretty good, then maybe do fewer. If there's lots of clicks and you feel like the mobility could be increased, then do more, yeah. All right, let's get into the elbows. Shake out the arms if you want to. And so straighten the arms, have the palms facing up, and inhale, touch the shoulders, exhale, straighten the arms. Right, so really try and feel into the elbows, right? This one might be a little bit harder. So I feel like our elbows, I don't know, sometimes I really feel like this is necessary for me, but I also have hypermobility, so my joint warm-up is paramount. I do not skip this ever. I do this every single day in the morning before going into my pranayama practice. Well, it's a part of a whole warm-up, but you can see that on my channel. I posted it for you recently. All right, woo, shake out the arms again. And let's move into the shoulders. Now we are going to touch the shoulders. And we're going to inhale and take the elbows together. So really try and get the elbows together here. And then bring them up, up, up towards the ceiling. And exhale as you bring the elbows back and down. Really feel into the shoulders, especially if you are like me and you're healing from a dislocated shoulder. This was like, oh my gosh, it was so crazy how hard it was to do after that happened. It's still not the most comfortable thing in the world, honestly. But I feel like injuries, discomfort is more reason to do these things, right? See if you can make it bigger. And let's switch directions. So now we're inhaling, we're taking the elbows back and up. And then as we exhale, we take them together in the front and down. Paying attention to any communication that is coming from the body, using the breath, using the mind to go deeper, to make it bigger. All right, let's straighten the legs and get into the lower part of the body. You can shake the legs out if you need to, especially if you're sitting in the same position for that whole time. All right. And let's get first into the toes. So I really want for us to be isolating the toes here. Okay, so we inhale and we bring the toes back, and then exhale and scrunch the toes. Only the toes. Do not move the ankles, okay? If you need to, hold on to the ankles. Keep them in place, okay? So inhale, toe only back. Exhale, scrunch the toes. Really notice how it feels. This is great for the feet. If you do this enough, you might even notice that your feet shrink a little bit. Since I started doing Pawanmuktasana every day, my feet have shrunk. Maybe it's a little bit uncomfortable, but sometimes discomfort is okay. Sorry if you can hear that yappy dog outside. All right, let's do 3 more. All right, and now we're going to get into the ankles, okay? So now we inhale, we're going to pull the toes back, flexing the ankles, and exhale, point the toes forward. Keep going at your own pace. Really feel into how the ankles feel. Feel into how it makes the entire legs feel, right? The calves, the shins. I think sometimes I should be silent so that you can be establishing your connection instead of listening to me yap. Let's do 3 more. All right. And let's make circles with the ankles. Inhaling as we bring the toes over to the left and back and over to the right, and exhale as we bring them down towards the center, back to the left. Do at least 10 times each direction. Feel into it. Try to make it as big as possible. And switch whenever you feel like it. Try and make it even. Or maybe you don't need to make it even. Maybe you need more on one side. I don't know. It's your body. All right, getting into the knees. Depending on your flexibility, you might want to lie down. So ideally we are seated, head is pointing up to the top of the ceiling, both feet are flexed, and we're interlacing the fingers, bringing them underneath the right hamstring. So really try and keep the back straight here. Yeah. But if we're having a hard time bending the leg properly, like if our leg is kind of more out here, then maybe we want to lie onto the back so that we have more space to bend and straighten the leg. Yeah. But if we are able to sit, please do so. And at least 10 times inhaling, straightening the right leg, and exhaling and bending it. So we have a little bit more to pay attention to here. Yeah, so let's be paying attention to the feet. Let's be paying attention to the knees and to the back. Yeah. Maybe to the clicks in the knees. At least 10 times, maybe more. You can also go faster, right? So go at a pace that, like, maybe you want to try what it's like to go faster. Usually I do these pretty fast. So right now I'm doing a lot slower than I usually do. So however makes most sense for you. You can try different speeds, right? And see how it goes. Yeah. All right, let's switch legs. Interlace the fingers under the left hamstring. Again, if you want to be lying down, that's totally fine. Flex both feet. Straighten the back, please. And inhale, straighten the leg, and exhale, bend it. Again, whatever speed makes the most sense for you right now. All right, and again, switch. Interlace the fingers under the right hamstring. Now we're going to use circles, okay? So again, if you want to lie back, also fine. Keep the back straight, keep the feet flexed. Be aware of what you're doing with the feet and the back, please. Inhale, take the right foot to the left and up, and exhale to the right and down, going at your own pace. Doing at least 10 in each direction. And switch directions whenever you'd like. And switch the legs when you're ready. Interlace fingers underneath the left hamstring. Feet are flexed, back is straight. And inhale, take the left foot to the right and up, and exhale it to the left and down, at least 10 times in each direction. And switch when you're ready. All right, shake out the legs. And let's bend the knees and work out our butterfly. If you've taken my classes, you know I'm like kind of obsessed with butterfly. So let's take the hands and hold the feet together and flap the knees. All right, we are a flying butterfly. We are not a stationary butterfly, at least not yet. We will find where we want to land soon. So really, as we are flapping the knees, we are being aware of the fact that what we are doing is we are flapping down, right? Keep going, but we really want to be pushing them down, right? So we're using this quick movement to send this message to our hip flexors that they can open more, right? So this is one of the best places that I connect my mind and body every day, right? It's like when we're just stopping here, then sometimes the hips are like, no, I want to close. But when we're moving on, then they're like, okay, they don't have an opportunity to resist, right? Because we're moving them quickly. Yeah. And then it sends a signal to the body. Oh, okay, like that where we are with when the knees are down, 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 down. Okay, that is possible, right? It's literally seeing evidence of that. Yeah, sure, maybe it's harder to keep them there, but we'll get there eventually because we have now seen evidence that we can get there. Yeah? All right. Faster, 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 faster. And stop. See if you can stop with them down. Yeah? Okay. And now let's go ahead and fold over, taking the heart down toward the feet. Okay, so keep the feet together, straighten the back. Be aware of what the back is doing as we are moving down toward the feet. Now what is the back doing? Is it rounded? It should not be rounded. Okay, so really extending the top of the head out and down. Yeah, lengthening the spine, lengthen, 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 lengthen. Right, and then once our heart is making contact with the feet, then if we'd like, we can take the chin down to the floor. But unless our feet and our heart are touching, we're not rounding the spine at all, okay? So wherever that means that we need to be, we're there. Okay, so tap into your body, make sure that you are doing the right thing. It is fascinating how you can, be giving these cues to people, but they're not paying attention to their body. So please, please, please pay attention to what your body is doing. That was what this entire class is about, okay? With all the love. And so we're really trying to not be using the hands to push down the knees here. And so now that we've been in the pose for a little bit, let's see if we can pull the knees down energetically closer to the floor. If you are like me and your knees are already touching the floor, you can use a block. I didn't bring one over here with me. So what you can do, if you have a block, you can put your feet onto the block and then pull the knees down. Oh, apparently my body doesn't want to function as a block here. And then you try and pull the knees down while the feet are on the block. Okay, that was a beautiful demonstration. I've done it in other classes. You can reference those. But if our knees are not touching the floor here, we want to really be using the mind, using the breath to pull them down energetically. Okay, do not touch them, energetically pull them down toward the floor. Okay, so we're feeling into the hip flexors, we're inhaling into the hip flexors. Be down farther, please. I just want to be talking while I'm up. So we're inhaling into the hip flexors, we notice the tension, and then we use the exhale to release the tension in the hip flexors while simultaneously intending that the knees are going down to the floor, okay? Let's take a few more breaths here. I know that some of you already came out, and that is totally fine. If you already came out, try and go back in for a little bit longer. All right, beautiful. Now, again, find a comfortable cross-legged position. See if you can not like shake out the hips or anything. See if you can go directly into a cross-legged position. So whether we want to be kind of just pulling one foot in front of the other, or we want to go back into Padahastasana, however we want. And then notice that we relieved quite a lot of tension in the hips just by doing that. We didn't need to do something dramatic to, to get it out, right? All right, let's take some twists. So we're going to inhale, reach the hands up to the ceiling. And then exhale, we're going to turn over to the right, take the left hand to the right knee, right hand behind us, and really twist as much as we can here. Just for a second, and then we inhale, reach the hands up. And exhale, twist over to the left, take the right hand to the left knee, left hand behind us. Inhale. Exhale to the right. Inhale. Exhale, left. Go at your own pace. We're really making sure that you are feeling into all of your body, okay? There's more happening here, right, to be feeling into. So see what is happening with the spine here, okay? Are we rounding the spine? Can we be lengthening it more as we're twisting? Right, so notice the sensations that are happening. See how we can move to deepen the twist, okay? Using the breath appropriately. All right, let's do one more each side, and then we're going to hold each side. All right, inhale, arms up, and exhale to the right. And now inhale, lengthen the spine, bring the top of the head up, and exhale, twist deeper. Inhale, top of the head up, lengthen the spine even more. Exhale, twist deeper. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist last time. Woo! Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, top of the head up to the ceiling. And exhale, twist deeper. Inhale, top of the head up to the ceiling. Exhale, twist deeper. Woo! Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale, arms up, center. Exhale, place the hands down, come onto hands and knees. All right, well, let's tap more into our mooladhara here. So, cat-cows. So we're inhaling, arching the spine, regular cat-cow, right? Looking up towards the eyebrow center. Exhaling, rounding the spine, looking toward the navel. And let's just squeeze the pelvic floor, okay? Let's not isolate the butthole squeeze like I usually tell you to. Let's just squeeze the pelvic floor, okay? So arching the back, squeezing the pelvic floor. Yeah. And release the squeeze. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch, squeeze. Exhale, round, release at your own pace. So whatever pace you need to be at to really feel into what you're doing, to really strengthen that mind-body connection. Try to do about 27. Usually I do 27, but 27 was a crazy number to say about. Make it bigger. All right, so there's kind of a lot going on, right? You want to be paying attention to what the spine is doing. We also want to be making sure that we are squeezing. We also want to be making sure that we are breathing properly. And let's do like 5 more. All right, beautiful. Let's sit onto the heels. And we're going to come down into Balasana, into child's pose. So we're going to be extended child's pose, so take the hands out. And allow for the forehead to come down onto the mat. Let's take a moment of stillness here to tune into the body. To notice how everything is feeling. See if you can notice any changes from the beginning to now. And take a moment to connect to the breath. So let's do a scan of the body. So scan at your own pace. And just take time to become aware of every part of the body and make any changes, any adjustments accordingly. So even if those changes are something that you're like, oh, well, then maybe I'm not doing the pose correctly, get that out of your mind for now. Okay, that is kind of a dangerous thing to say. But I really, sometimes we're trying so hard to do a pose correctly, quote unquote, that we're not doing as our body specifically needs to be doing something. Yeah. And sometimes, we have an idea of what it is to have correct alignment, and then the more we tune into our body, then we can get a deeper understanding of what it really means, right? We're like, oh, okay, this is what that meant. I always thought it was something different. And I'm speaking from experience, obviously, right? I'm not just saying things. And actually, what we're about to do, Cobra pose, is one of those things. So we're going to do a flow that we're just going from here, from Balasana to Bhujangasana, so from child's pose to Cobra. And we're just going to keep doing that several times. And so what I want for you to be doing is tuning into your body to see how your body specifically wants to be practicing these two poses and also the transitions between the poses. Yeah. So we're going to exhale as we're here in Balasana, as we're here in child's pose. And then we're going to inhale and we're going to move into Bhujangasana, but move into it however you specifically want to move into it. So sometimes I will bring my forearms down and kind of guide my nose down toward the floor and then come up into the Cobra. Or sometimes I will bring my body up and then bring the hips down toward the floor. So you figure out how it makes most sense for you to do it. Also, you can be changing it up, right? You can do one way, another way. If you watched my practice yesterday, I was doing something like this, and I kept changing around how I was doing it because it made sense for me to change around how I was doing it, okay? So let's begin the flow. Again, I really want you to be going at your own pace and feeling into your specific body. But what I also want is for you to be using the breath correctly. Okay, so we're always exhaling as we're here in child's pose, and we're always inhaling as we are moving to Cobra. Now, Cobra. We can be here in a baby Cobra, or we can be all the way up here in adult Cobra. Or we can be anywhere in between, right? So technically, Cobra pose would be kind of more like this, but I generally practice it such that my arms are straight, and sometimes my hips are a little bit lifted at the beginning. So, is it textbook correct? Maybe, maybe not. Is it what my body tells me to do? Yes. Okay. So, flow and connect and make adjustments. Go as slow or as fast as makes sense for you. And use trial and error, right? In order to really strengthen that connection between the mind and body. I feel like trial and error is a really important step there. And also be open to any changes. Yeah, so sometimes we might find something and we're like, oh, that feels good, and then we get obsessed with it, right? We're like, oh, okay, so this feels good, that must be how I should be doing it. But what if there's something that feels great? What if there's something that feels excellent? What if there's something that feels perfect? And we're missing it because we're settling for good. Apply that to your life in any way that needs it, right? The beautiful thing about our yoga practice is that what we do on the mat translates to our life. So if we are committing to making ourselves feel perfect while we're here on the mat, then we can also commit to making ourselves feel perfect in all areas of our life. And if you want to add a little something to connect more to the mooladhara, then if you'd like, as we inhale here, in Bhujangasana, you can stop, hold the breath in, and squeeze the pelvic floor for about 5 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release the squeeze, and then exhale. And continue. And if you want to be closing your eyes here to help you deepen the connection, that can also be helpful. All right, let's do 3 more. So if you're squeezing, you can also do 3 more. Again, the number doesn't really matter because it's not like one side or the other side, you know? All right, wherever you are, come back to Balasana. And we're just going to add a Parvatasana in there, okay? So we're going to continue inhaling into our Bhujangasana. And then we're going to tuck the toes and we're going to exhale and move it back into mountain pose. Now, this is one of the things that has changed for me. So typically, we're taught that our feet are hip-width distance, right? Particularly for downward dog, right? And like in the Western world, we do a lot more downward dog than we do mountain pose because most people are teaching vinyasa or they're teaching hatha incorrectly. Mountain pose. Sometimes we want our feet apart, but actually, we can also have our feet together. And so for a while, I was like, it feels so uncomfortable having my feet together. But I was open to doing things differently. And then one day, I just started doing it feet together. And now, sometimes I even do downward dog with my feet together. But sometimes it feels uncomfortable still. So yeah, this is something that changes a lot for me. So see what feels right for you as we are here. And again, this is one that we're like, can be really obsessed with alignment. Right? Like, how many people have been to a class and your teacher comes in and like pulls your hips up and back, right? And so, again, finding our inner teacher to teach us what is the optimal way for our body to be practicing this pose right now. Yeah, like maybe we want to be nice and strong in our shoulders here, maybe we want to be having our tailbone up and back, or maybe we also want to be stretching out our shoulders here, you know? Feel into it, see what feels good. Anyway, now that's we're at the top of the flow. So this is going to be with an exhale. And then we're going to come back down, inhaling back to Bhujangasana. And then exhaling back to our Balasana. And we continue to flow like that. Do it about 10 times, however feels good for you. If you want to continue holding the Bhujangasana and squeezing, you can do that. Or otherwise, just continue with the flow, whatever your connection between your mind and body is telling you to do. Be also observing how it gets easier, right? Like maybe Bhujangasana was a lot harder the first time, and then you notice that you can have your back arched more as you continued with the flow, as things started loosening up, and as you strengthened that connection, right? As you got more in touch with the breath, right? Oh, another thing to be paying attention to is where your feet are in Bhujangasana. This is another one that I change around a lot. Like sometimes I'll try and have them stay together, but of course that's going to make my back hurt a little bit more, right, than if they're farther apart. So, yeah. See how it feels to have them together, see how it feels to have them apart, and ask your body, what does it want? But be sure when you're asking it to find out what is behind the answer, right? Do you want to then be communicating with it to tell it that it can do something that it's telling you that it can't, right? I'm obviously not counting because I don't know how to count and talk at the same time. Wouldn't that, I really hope that I can one day learn how to count and talk at the same time. I've gotten pretty good at counting and internal chanting, but that's pretty much like so-hum chanting, so that's pretty easy. It's always the same thing. All right, let's do 2 more. All right. I have no idea how people teach 1-hour classes. That is crazy to me. I was like, oh, I'll do an hour class, as if I've ever in my life taught class in an hour. Okay, we're gonna work on one more thing so that I do try and get it like closer to an hour for people who need to actually go do stuff. But so I want to work on Malasana, because Malasana is a really important pose for our mooladhara, our root chakra, okay? So I want us to see what it feels like to be in our Malasana. Okay, so our feet are about hip-width distance. They're turned out at a degree that feels most comfortable for you. Important. This is like, okay, an area that, okay, yeah, sure, you can still feel into your body, but it is important that our heels are down here so that we are getting the correct benefits, yeah. So if the heels being down means that we need to be up more, right, like it's gonna be difficult, of course. Something that I only know theoretically though, to be completely honest. So feel how it feels to be told that we are practicing this pose, right? Notice what your body does when I tell you, okay, we're going to practice Malasana. Does your body say, oh yeah, right, I can't do that? Be honest. If it does say that, can you reframe that? Can you then use your mind to communicate to your body, yes, I can? Like, our bodies are made in such a way that they can do this, right? Most of us. Yeah, obviously there are some exceptions. I couldn't remember the word for exceptions. Obviously there are some exceptions, but generally our bodies are created such that they can do this, and the mind tells us that we can't for whatever reason. And then like we feel tightness in the ankles or in the hips, right? So let's see how we have been able to establish that connection between the mind and body now, and then apply it to our Malasana. Okay, so finding the position. Now you're like, okay, can we come out of it now? Yeah, okay. So we'll practice doing it more dynamically. All right, so this is going to be our last thing, and then we will stretch out a little bit and then take Shavasana. Okay, so take our Malasana here, if we can, so however it feels to be doing this, and really communicate. See how deep you can go. And so here we are. This is going to be our inhale with our hands at heart center if possible. If your hands need to be down, that is totally fine, right? We are working toward being able to do this. This is why this is the beginner foundational class, okay? So we're inhaling here, trying to also be paying attention to what the spine is doing. Yeah, is my spine straight here? Make any adjustments as necessary, okay? And then we're going to exhale. We're going to place the hands down onto the floor. Bring the toes straight and come into our standing forward fold. Okay, feel the stretch in the back of the legs. And again, we want for our back to be pretty straight here. So, however, that means that our back needs to be straight. Sometimes it means that our knees need to be bent, right? I don't really... So if our knees need to be bent for our back to be straight, that is fine. Yeah, but if when we straighten them, then our back wants to round, bend the knees, okay? So maybe there's not even very much of a difference between our Malasana and our forward fold. That's fine, right? But be keeping those doors of communication, is that even a thing? Lines of communication open, right? Feel into what you need to feel into and see the improvements accordingly. Okay, so let's do 10 times Malasana to Padahastasana at your own pace, feeling into your own body. So inhaling here, back nice and straight if possible. And exhale, place the hands down, come into our forward fold. Turn the toes out, bring the hips down, inhale, keep the back straight, bring the hands together. Exhale, hands down, straighten the legs. Inhale. Exhale. All right, 8 more. All right, beautiful. Let's come back down and let's sit the butt down. Straighten the legs. One little bit of effort before we stretch out the legs, okay? So we're going to take our L-sit. So we're going to press our hands into the floor, and then we're either going to stay here, squeezing the pelvic floor. Okay, so this is our last thing that we're really squeezing the pelvic floor. So Brahmacharyasana. Either squeezing here, tension in the legs, tension in basically the whole body, or we are lifting and then we're squeezing. Maybe we're lifting the legs, maybe we're lifting the butt, maybe we're lifting the whole body, okay? So we'll do it 3 times. Hold for like 5 to 10 seconds. Okay, ready? Flex the feet or point them. No, flex the feet. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Lift, squeeze the pelvic floor. Squeeze it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. This is a really beautiful posture for working with the root chakra. This is also really nice if you do this before bed and you are someone who has nightmares. This could potentially help to reduce nightmares. Fun fact. I no longer have nightmares, but I used to, and I started doing this before bed and it really did help. So I'm not just saying that theoretically, I'm saying that experientially. All right, ready? Round 2, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and press and lift and squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! I've been talking about my tight quads for days, and yet I keep doing more to make them more sore. Take a few seconds, and then we're going to do the third one, and then we're going to stretch out the quads apparently, and the back of the legs, and then we'll take Shavasana. All right, ready? And 3, 2, 1. Lift and squeeze. And hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Woo! Give the legs a little shake. All right, let's come on to the knees. And we're just going to stretch the quads by lying down. So, Supta Vajrasana, sleeping here, all right? We are heroes, and now we are taking our rest. So if you need to be lying on something or using your forearms or your hands or something, that is fine. The goal here is literally just to stretch out the quads, yeah. So do whatever you need to do to find that sensation of stretching in our quadriceps. If you are lying down on the floor here, maybe take some time to feel into your back. I don't know what other people's bodies do, but my back starts to hold tension here unnecessarily. It's like, oh no, I don't want to do that. And then you're like, dude, this is nothing compared to what I usually ask you to do. But for some reason, I have to like consciously relax it here. So maybe you need to do the same. Using the breath and the mind to consciously release tension in the legs, quads. It's a fasting day for me, if you can hear my stomach growling. Oh, so I'm like noticing that I'm doing this. Something that I do when stretching a lot is bounce, rock. Like I'll move in something that is like kind of a static stretch because I feel like it stretches it more sometimes, at least at the beginning. And for kind of similar reasons, like I was talking about with the butterfly, right, when we're flapping our knees. It's like it will send this message to the body that it can relax. It's like the message comes through stronger when we're moving for some reason. All right. I don't think they're gonna get any more stretch than that, so let's come up. And let's just take one Paschimottanasana, one seated forward fold. So passively folding forward over the legs. Again, trying to keep the back pretty straight here. If our belly is touching the floor, the legs, and then our chest is touching the legs, then we can go ahead and drop the head down. If none of these are touching, then we want to be just trying to keep the back straight. And maybe we want to have some kind of pillow or something to lean on so that we can be more passive. But that's really going to be more for like a yin or a restorative class than something like this. Yeah. So just taking like a few breaths here. We don't really need that much stretching, I don't think, of the back of the legs because a lot of what we did already was stretching it. All right, let's come out. And let's take our Shavasana and put socks on. I'm getting a little bit cold, so if you want to put on something that you need to keep you warm in Shavasana, I'm also going to put this on. Let's be real. I get super cold in Shavasana. So do what you need to do if you want to get a blanket or something that might be nice. And let's go ahead and lie down, taking the feet to the corners of the mat. And resting the arms by the sides. Taking as much time as you need to find a position that you can stay in for about 10 minutes. If you know me, you know that I'm being serious about 10 minutes. And let's find complete relaxation of the entire body, starting by relaxing the tips of the toes. Relaxing the toe joints. Or relaxing the tops of the feet. Or relaxing the soles of the feet. We're relaxing the ankles. We're relaxing the shins and the calves. We're relaxing the knees and the backs of the knees. We're relaxing the quads and the hamstrings. Relaxing the glutes and the sex. We're relaxing the hips and the hip flexors. We're relaxing the pubic bone and the tailbone. We're relaxing the space from the pubic bone up to the belly button. Relaxing the lower back. Relaxing the stomach. Relaxing the middle back. Relaxing the chest, the ribs, the lungs, and the heart. Relaxing the shoulder blades and the whole upper back. Relaxing the collarbone. Relaxing the shoulders. Relaxing the upper arms. Relaxing the elbows and the insides of the elbows. Relaxing the lower arms. Relaxing the wrists. Relaxing the backs of the hands and the palms of the hands. Relaxing all of the fingers, all of the knuckles, and all the tips of the fingers. Relaxing the neck, the front of the neck, the sides of the neck, and the back of the neck. Relaxing the jaw. Relaxing the mouth, the lips, the teeth, and the tongue. Relaxing the ears. Relaxing the nose. Relaxing the cheeks and the cheekbones. Relaxing the eyes and the eye sockets. Relaxing the eyebrows and the space between the eyebrows. Relaxing the forehead. Relaxing the temples. Relaxing the back of the head. Relaxing the brain. Relaxing the crown of the head. And reaching up above the crown of the head to relax that space. And reaching outside of the body to relax the aura. And resting in this deeply relaxed state. Take the next inhale deeper, calling the self back into the body. And begin to find movement in the fingers and the toes, and the wrists and the ankles. And interlace the fingers, or reach the hands up overhead and take the feet together, reach them away from the hands. Inhale deeply. Inhale more. And open the mouth and exhale, sigh it out. Keeping the eyes closed, roll over onto the left side, using the left arm as a pillow beneath the head. And continuing to keep the eyes closed, come on up into a comfortable seated position. Take the hands onto the knees, just as we started practice. And take a moment to observe any changes. Bring awareness to the whole body, scanning down from the head to the toes. And let's lock in those changes with an Om and 3 Shantis together. Taking the hands at heart center. Chant with me or don't. Exhale. Inhale to chant. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Rub the hands together, creating heat. Take the heat from the hands, place it over the eyes. Open and close the eyes beneath the hands. Close the eyes, take the hands back together, rub them together. And take the heat from the hands, place it over the face. And spread it down the neck, and down the arms, down the torso, down the legs, and to the feet. And one last time, take the hands to heart center, bow the head in gratitude. Thanking yourself for taking this time for yourself. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and blink open the eyes. Thank you so much for being here with me today, for trusting me and allowing me to guide you. I will now come and answer questions. If you are on TikTok, this is the first time I've ever gone live on TikTok, and I was late to start class. I also just started streaming in general, like a few days ago. And yeah, I have no idea even if it's still recording. My phone is facing the other direction. So if you are on TikTok and you have questions, please bring them to YouTube. You can follow my link tree. It is Yoga is the Answer. And I'm going to go turn this off, and then I'm going to come over here. Okay. Oh, yeah, well, it was discontinued anyway. Oh, I got 11 new followers. That's cool. Yes, so traditionally, we are supposed to end and begin classes with traditionally, we are supposed to end and begin classes with the chanting. I begin my own classes with chanting. My own practices with chanting. Oftentimes, I don't begin my classes here with the chanting because I feel like people kind of like have a little bit of a hard time with it. But if then we've gotten to the end of it and people are still with me by the end of it, I'm like, all right, well, they can be open to the chanting now, you know? So yeah, usually, so like any traditional yoga class, and like what we're meant to be doing is something for the centering at the beginning, right? So it doesn't need to be chanting a mantra. Like you will see always with my classes, I do something, right, to center us at the beginning. Usually it's quite a lot to center us at the beginning, right? So it can be a mantra, or it can be the grounding, or it can be breathing, some kind of pranayama, right? But yeah, always I feel like, sometimes even just now, I was like, oh, should I skip the chanting? Nah. Yeah, right? All right. Let me see. What do you mean you've stopped fasting? Okay, so I fast 2 days a month. Usually I fast 4 days before the new moon and 4 days before the full moon. But like I said yesterday, like I did not realize what day we were on already. I didn't realize it was already going to be the full moon on Friday, and I had already eaten, so I'm fasting today instead. Oh, well, I just have so much knowledge inside of me. It's like I'm going to burst if I don't share it. I need to figure out TikTok at some point. Like, I don't know, does it like end after a certain amount of time? Yeah, I want you to stream the classes at work. You can, the staff, the patients, I'm sure, would. Neck pain stretches. So remember that if we are wanting to request classes, then we need to be a member of the highest tier. Yes. So, yeah, that's that. I will, yeah, okay, like sometimes we can address other things, but appreciate the compliments. Is this asking how old I am? How old do you think I am? I'm glad you like the cat cows. I'm like reading these so out of order right now. Are they? Are my classes beast workouts? What do I recommend doing after this class specifically, or after classes in general? I mean, it's always going to be different, right? Like this class specifically, because it was about just kind of deepening the mind-body connection, then really just continue that mind-body connection moving into the rest of your day, right? So I think just kind of in general, like whatever in general. So whatever we're working on the mat, take that thing, that concept, and then bring it into the rest of that day. So I will specify if there is a time of day that the class is meant to be practiced. Because there's not always, right? A lot of the classes that I do, it's like maybe they're best in the morning, but not necessarily. I do always specify if it is something that is cooling, like for the evening time, and it's kind of like more to prepare us to get ready for bed. But yeah, after class, whatever makes sense for you, right? Continuing along with the theme, like tap into your body, tap into your mind. Like sometimes you might feel more energized after, sometimes you might feel more tired after. And you could do sometimes the exact same practice and it'll feel energizing, and then other times it will feel tiring, you know? Okay, but do be careful with the eating and yoga. So our belly should be relatively empty when we practice yoga. So like traditionally, we're meant to have at least 4 hours in between the meal and our yoga practice. But that's like kind of talking more about like a big meal. What I do right now is, of course, I do my early morning practice on like complete empty belly, and then I eat a little bit, and then I do my next practice like 2 to 3 hours later. So it's not the same, the 4 hours, but it's also like I'm eating less. And the eating less is like stimulating like emptying, right? So like whatever we need to do to get the belly empty, sometimes that means eating something to make the belly be emptier, right? Like, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, we can definitely talk more about that. And I know that we were talking about the vegan thing the other day, and while I do not personally have any issues with people not being vegan, yoga suggests that to truly be a yogi, particularly for Kundalini awakening, that we are at least vegetarian. That is not from me, right? That is that is from the texts and the passed down traditions. So that's not an opinion, that is regurgitation of information. Have I invented my own yoga pose? There was one that was in a class from like 2 years ago. That was like kind of inventing my own yoga poses. Yeah, so if you want to, I don't think I have it with me. I'll tell you who it's by. The Kundalini Tantra book that I've gotten a lot of my information from. It was given to us in my Kundalini yoga teacher training. We didn't actually work with the book in the training. It was more like, okay, like use this additionally. So I read it afterwards. But I like the way that he presents the information, because he's like, no BS, like, this is what you need to do, period. And I am like very much like that, even though I like actively try to not be like that. So yeah, I'm trying to think of like still about the inventing my own yoga poses thing. Like probably, but I kind of keep that stuff more to myself. I know you have. I recognize this username from other from other social media things. And is it showing me a little thing, a YouTube thing, if people are also chatting? Oh, I turned the chat off on Twitter. I forgot. I was remembering that I also streamed to Twitter today for the first time. When I said, so I'm using Streamlabs to stream everything, because then you can like do across platforms. And so up until today, I've only done YouTube and Twitch at the same time. And it was also like my first time ever being on Twitch. So I was like, I don't care. I set up this whole thing to be platforms, so I'm using multiple platforms. And then it like made me do all this extra stuff to try to connect the Instagram and the TikTok, so I didn't do that. But then today I was like, wait, let me see what happens if I connect X. And all I had to do was turn it on. And I was like, all right, I'm turning off the chat because it's a lot. Am I missing any questions? Do you guys feel like you strengthened your mind-body connection? Also, does anybody know anything about TikTok? I'm like so confused about the TikTok thing. I signed in and I turned it on, and then I was like, thought that I would just be able to. I have a good memory for like when I see something written, like somebody tells me their name and it's like it's gone. And then, yeah, but if I read something, I will remember that I saw it. And numbers, like, if you tell me your birthday, I will remember your birthday forever. I'll probably not remember your name, but I'll remember your birthday. I know you're a Taurus because I know your birthday. Maybe. I mean, we're in Taurus season already. Are you asking that because all my Worship the Wolf content is currently for Taurus season? Oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to put out the second video for the season, I think probably later today or tomorrow, and it's like my favorite one that I've done thus far. So if anyone is a subscriber over there, I don't know how much I should talk about that here. Probably not at all, but here we are. On dates, like the food? Oh! I was literally just talking about dates and already I forgot. But dates are also my favorite food. Yeah, I remember dates like birthdays, anniversaries, things like this. I have not been on a date in quite a while, and even the last dates that I have been on, it has been under the understanding that I am celibate and not planning on breaking that anytime soon. And yeah, so that is my relationship with the 3 kinds of dates. Yeah. Yeah, so my body very much remembers anniversaries and things like that too. And I think that even sometimes the reason that I remember like other people's birthdays, other dates, things like that, is because my body is like tapped into the sun being in the same place relative, or the earth being in the same place relative to the sun, right? I learned recently that there's this, I was looking up if there is a significance to an 11-year cycle, because there was like a quite significant event in my life that happened 11 years ago, and I feel like for some reason this year I'm like really feeling a lot of it more. And I got distracted by the chat. Oh yeah, so there's something about like an 11-year solar cycle, that like what is happening with the sun and like the solar flares and things like that are like similar to what they were 11 years prior. Like they go in 11-year cycles. I don't know why I just decided to talk about that. I guess because I was talking about dates. I'm an Aquarius moon. But I tend to quite like Aquarius. You guys are weird AF. Any more questions about the class? or classes in general, or yoga in general. Normally this would be my eating time, but it's not today as I am fasting. I do want to try and run though. So anybody that joined late wants to take the full class, well, write it down and you can bring it to Q&A or ask it at any time. You're my highest priority. You think I know what the next class is going to be about? My goodness, you should know me better than that. I didn't even know what today's class was going to be about until today. What will the next class be about? I don't even know what I'm going to do in 5 minutes. But seriously, that is actually something I'm really working on, is like not trying to make myself like announce things just because it's expected that I will announce something, because that's not how I operate. And I'm also like, I'm not saying things ahead of time. Like, I think maybe there was one day so far that I said the time that the class would be the next day, but like, I don't wake up to an alarm. So, and I'm not going to wake up to an alarm. That's not something that I'm going to do, because it doesn't make sense for me to be doing something that goes against what I think I should be doing, and also that goes against like what I am encouraging other people to do, right? It's like, I'm not going to commit to like a class a week from now at 10 a.m. because I also don't want for you to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to commit to what something is going to be because maybe I don't want to do that in my body that day. Yeah, definitely heavy on the living in the present. And I think something that I want to make sure that I'm saying it the right way. Something that I have come to respect more about teaching yoga in this kind of way is that I need to be doing the practice with my body in order to be demonstrating it, right? So like, typically a yoga teacher in a class is not doing the practice, right? They're going around and they're helping people, they're giving verbal instruction. And so then their body does not need to be doing the practice, right? But when you teach online, you also need to be using your body to do that. And particularly when you teach in the way that I do, such that it is like doing something with some kind of energetic intention, then I'm then making my body go through the experience that it needs to go through in order to meet that energetic intention, which is a lot. And so it's something that, of course, I've known the entire time, but then what happened was, like a couple of months ago, I was noticing like I was trying to make more beginner classes. And beginner classes aren't necessarily easier on the physical body, particularly if you are teaching, like, you know, teaching Warrior 2, like teaching alignment in the class. And so I was noticing, you know, I'm trying to make these more beginner classes, but then I'm exhausting my body doing like Warrior 2, you know, for several minutes at a time, and that took away from what I actually needed to be doing with my body to keep up with my personal practice, right? And so part of the reason for changing the way that I do everything was to honor and respect my body and what it needs to do. And yeah, so that's like a long, and I know that you were not meaning to be disrespectful. I'm just like saying what the reason is for that. And yeah, like the last classes that I made that that were for, like, before I changed everything, like that was why I had to take an entire month off. It's like, I did not know what was gonna happen when I kind of put it out there to everyone, and I was like, oh, what are you guys trying to work on during Mercury retrograde? And then I got like, oh, anxiety. Okay, like, I can work with that. I've experienced the complex PTSD, right? Like, I know how to, I've experienced anxiety, and I know how to deal with it with yoga. And then it was like grief. And so I'm like making these classes, but like I had to let myself tap into those feelings. Like I had to tap into this energy of anxiety. I had to tap into all of the stages of grief in order to make those classes. And I was done by the end of that. Like I had to take that entire month off that I did after that. And it was my fault, right? Like I'm not like blaming anyone except me. Like it was 100% my fault. I'm the one that asked the question, and I'm the one that allowed for that to be the experience. Like I could have written down on a piece of paper different asanas that I think make sense to address anxiety, to address the stages of grief. I could have done that, but that's not what I did. I channeled every single one of those classes. Like I connected to the divine, and I channeled it by connecting to the energy and bringing it out. And yeah, that is the reason that things are, yes, exactly. Alchemizing emotions into motion, exactly. Yeah, and that is why things on this channel are the way that they are now, because I was like, a lot of people will kind of suggest that I compromise that. Yeah, thank you. I'm happy that you feel like it's an upgrade. I feel like it's an upgrade too, and I've definitely had to do a lot of energetic work around it. Like it was really interesting because like when I was making those classes for like the last Mercury retrograde, that ended up being the last classes that I really did before taking a month off. Like I mentioned briefly in it, I was like, oh, I'm working on my own grieving, and what I was grieving was the end of how this channel was. I didn't know exactly what it was going to look like, but I had already made the plan to start streaming, and I had not yet decided that I was going to do the memberships. The day that I decided to do the memberships was later that morning. I was able to press to handstand for the first time since I dislocated my shoulder, and it was like confirmation that I had made the right choice. And I talked about this in the, okay, enjoy work. I talked about this in a video that I made like right after the shoulder injury happened. I talked about, I was trying to lift people up too much, and I really connected it to my former job and not to here, even though the thing that I had done on that day, it was my birthday, and I made a yoga class for free on my birthday. And I was like, no, I refuse to connect it to how I'm giving away my energy. And then I just started to go more and more broke until I was like, oh shoot. Okay, today I'm gonna do something different, I swear. And yeah, literally, like, I finally thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna do the memberships, because I kept like getting these downloads like every single day. I'm like sitting in my meditation, and then I'm like getting told that I need to start charging for things. And I was just rejecting it, pushing it away, pushing it away, pushing it away. No, I can do this. No, I can do this. And then finally I was like, all right, fine. It was like my shoulder was completely healed. Not completely, but like way more healed than even the day before. So I don't know why I just started talking about that. I guess the upgrade for the channel or whatever. Okay. Anything else? The replay will be available for everyone. Speaking of giving things away for free. If you feel so inclined to exchange energy despite it being free, then you will receive more benefits from the practice, of course. That's how energy works. I will work on the chapters at some point in the near future. Like in the next few hours, I will update the chapters so that you can use them as you move through the practice. And my allergies were so bad today. It's like my voice is... I have actually not been to Africa at all. I would love to go to Africa, and particularly Egypt. I was actually thinking about it either yesterday or the day before. Yeah. Yes. Where are you in Egypt? Oh, I think we've had this conversation before. I literally was looking at Airbnbs in Egypt, I think like 2 days ago. Even though I am not in a financial position that I can do that yet, if everybody who is in this stream becomes a member, I will be a lot closer. So, on that note, I'm gonna go and clean up my stuff and hopefully go for a run. Is it possible to practice yoga on the pyramids? If so, I'm going there as soon as possible. All right. Thank you, everyone. And I will probably be on tomorrow. I'm going to see how I feel, because I am fasting for the rest of the day. So we'll see when I decide I'm going to break that.